because the fear is going to lead to the smarter people in the organization leaving. You have to remember the top tier talent has options. They can go get other jobs. And if you say, well, we're going to definitely leverage this technology, it's going to replace many of you in the current workforce for the company, they're going to seek employment elsewhere if they believe that there's insecurity around their jobs. So the prospect of job insecurity could drive away motivated employees who are seeking stability and growth in their careers. And I've run into this a bunch of times as well, and even experienced it personally. In other words, if someone runs around and a CEO or some other leader talks about the risks of layoffs, suddenly everybody's interviewing, everybody's sending out resumes to other employees. And we're finding that the most desirable people, the people who add the most value to the companies, are the ones who end up leaving. So it's never a good idea to put fear into a workforce. I understand the motivations behind it. Now, I'm sure some consultants are saying that you're going to get more productivity out of people who are insecure about their roles. In other words, they want to impress you. They're going to work extra hard, be extra productive. But that's not my experience. I think that most people go to work, put an honest day's work in for an honest day's pay, and they want to have some security that the job's going to be there when they return in the morning. And if that security is not there, they're going to seek other alternatives. So the next issue would be employee morale and the risk around that. So announcements like these of workforce reductions due to AI could significantly dampen employee morale, leading to disengagement and less productive work environment. So you have to remember that the attitude that people have toward the organization is going to motivate them to complete their tasks on time, to put in that extra effort, to come in early and stay late to get things accomplished. And if it's going to be low morale situations where they don't have as good of an attitude about their employer as they should have, that stuff's not going to happen. They're pretty much going to work to the rule. We've heard of the thing a few years ago, quiet quitting. Suddenly people just stop working hard, they kind of phone it in. They'll get into that kind of a state where ultimately you're not getting the productivity out of them. So when employees feel threatened by technology or anything else, by the way, their trust in the company diminishes, potentially impacting overall performance. And we see study after study after study that determines this to be the case. And so in other words, if the company has a culture where there's threats, there's insecurity, things like that, it's going to drive low morale. And even if people are holding on to their jobs, they're not going to work them as productively as they can.